Hey folks, it's Brian. Sorry about the echoey in the room here. We don't have it filled back up, but the basement's done. So had two games on Saturday that ended late, and I had to get up early Sunday morning to get to my flight out. So yesterday was a complete wash. That was a mess. But so my first game on Saturday was Stealing the Eye. It's a demo designed for four characters. And there were three that were signed up for my game. There were four at one point, but then it went down to three. And there were like a couple on the waiting list, but only two guys showed up. So we waited around a little bit to see if somebody else would show up, but nobody did. So I did a quick little Glorantha thing. Excuse me. And then we got in the scenario. So they're over the fence and inside the compound for the temple. And the scenario design is to go into the temple, take care of a few things there. There's a monster, get the eye, and escape, right? But they both keyed off on that barracks. Just like the very first time I did, well, maybe it wasn't the very first, but the first Gen Con time of running this. They decided we're going to eliminate any guards behind us before we go up to the tower. And this is a 2-hour game, right? So they sneak around, make a couple rolls, and we've got the trickster and we've got the earth priestess, because those are the two that you pretty much need for the Stealing the Eye scenario. And the Armali goes invisible, and the earth priestess pulls out her axe and starts. Well, first they do some sneaking around, touching the door, that kind of thing, and they're being fairly quiet. And I figured, well, it's going to have a finger latch like a gate, right? Because you keep the door closed when the wind blows, that kind of thing. And I thought, well, they might have a bar for, we are in Orlantha lands, and you don't know what kind of creatures are around. Even though they don't have a patrol, because there's just the two of them, right? There's supposed to be four normally, but there's just two this night. I think it's been set up for the Stealing the Eye. And so I have the guy roll, make a roll power times 5, and he missed. That's okay. There's a bar in the place in the way, and okay, so he takes his axe and he's hacking at it. And I'm gonna give him a huge bonus because it's just a door standing there, right? But I treat it like a shield. I do so much damage to it, and the damage goes into it, and then it brought it down. So the first time I did like 6 points, then did enough to do 6 points, and enough to do 4 points, and then he took it down. So it took 3 rounds of hacking at the door to get it open. So the guards are inside. They've got 3 rounds. Wake up. What's going on? Grab their armor. And then they come in. First, the invisible guy comes in, I sketched out, my envisionment of the inside of the barracks, right? Which is actually based off of Roman barracks in northern England. There's a guy who does tours, and he's been putting some stuff on YouTube that I've been watching. It's been pretty interesting. He's gone back into, well, he was doing medieval at first, which I thought was really cool. But now he did some ancient. Now he's doing like prehistoric stuff. But anyway, so sketch out. They've got a common room, table, chairs, a fireplace, stuff, right? And then an open doorway, because you don't need a door to sleeping areas. I think. Nah, maybe. Anyway, so, and then you got 4 bunks, you've got their little chest thing, you've got their armor, there's a rack on at the end, like spears and stuff like that. And invisible guy comes in and sees what's going on. So there's a fire. No, there's embers from the fireplace, right? Because it's died down. It's almost dawn. So there's a little glow coming out of that. There's a little bit of light coming in through the windows. But when the guys wake up, they'll have little candles, because you have to get in the night, you have to be able to see, right? So there's a little bit of light in that back room. The Morangor comes in. The guys are both up. They've got their body armor on. They're going to get their weapon and shield. But it wasn't after we started fighting we realized these guys don't have shields. They don't even have leg and arm armor or a helmet. They just have body armor. Really? But that's what it is. Um, so combat ensues, right? And they're right on this first rack. Um, so for movements of like, maybe have a leg up on one of the racks kind of thing, because the hexes work out, right? And the invisible guy is doing a 2-hex jab thing with a spear. And they're beating up on the one guy. And the second guard is trying to attack the Morangor. And they throw up the protection at first because they need some armor. And then based upon how well they're doing against the opponents, that they go back into their blade sharp as well. But they're hitting at the end of the round. When they cast magic, they're hitting at the end of the round. And they go first. So the Armali, when he attacks, being invisible, he becomes visible attack. He's visible for the rest of the round. And then he goes invisible again. But the first guard hit the Morangor pretty good. Did some decent damage on her. And then she's getting ganged up on. So the Armali spearman is attacking the second guard. And after the first attack, the guards start looking around because he knows there's an invisible guy here because he can see him and then he goes invisible, right? So he's moving up, looking around for him, and then the Armali pops up, does a spear jab, the guy defends, then attacks. But the dice rolls were not doing very well for the party. But in the short 2 hours we had to do this combat, because I'm stopping and we're talking through, we're explaining the game, right? As we're doing stuff. They were getting beat up pretty bad when we had actually called a game because one of the guys had a 4 o'clock game he had to get to. It was a 2 to 4 game. So, well, we got a feel for combat, right? And a little bit about magic and, rolling for rune spells and rolling for spirit magic. So it was a success. Happy gaming.